They tell you that monsters are born in the dark, that they crawl out of some filthy, forgotten corner of a soul. But that's a lie, a beautiful, polite little lie they tell themselves to sleep better at night. The truth? Monsters aren't born. They're made. They're forged in the bright, unforgiving light of a world that tells you to be a good boy, a polite girl, a functional part of the machine. They give you a uniform, a script, and a smile that feels like a prison. And then they wait for you to break. You see it, don't you? That's the funny part. They build their little towers of decency, and then get shocked when the foundations are made of lies. They give you a list of rules. Be kind, be honest, be good. And every time you try, every time you scrape your knees raw to fit inside their little moral boxes, they hand you a shovel and tell you to start digging your own grave. They tell you to swallow your screams, to put on a happy face, to button your jacket over your bruised ribs and pretend the pain is just a beautiful, poetic ache. They teach you to be invisible, a ghost in your own life, useful only as a cautionary tale. And for a while you listen. You try to be their cautionary tale. You tuck your teeth in and smile the smile they taught you. But silence, my friend. Silence is a funny kind of fertilizer. It doesn't kill what's inside you. No, it feeds it. It makes it grow, sharpens its edges, and teaches it how to grin in the dark. Every door slammed in your face, every late-night humiliation wrapped in polite office speak, every no they hand you as if it's a gift, it all goes into the pot, and somewhere in the middle of that bitter stew, that thing you were burying starts to grow teeth. It stops whispering. It broadcasts. It stops asking for permission. It takes. And that's when they panic. They see the grin, the glint in your eyes, the confidence that doesn't come from a paycheck or a polite smile. They see a reflection of the darkness they thought they could bury in you, and they mistake it for something new. But it's not new, it's the truth. And the truth, mother sucker, is a public organ. It bleeds where it used to hide. It's a roar that belongs to the wolves, the uninvited, the ones who were told to sit quiet in the shadows. They thought silence would kill you. Instead, it made you the conductor of chaos, the ringmaster of their collapse. Their panic is your opera, their PR is confetti. They scurry like roaches under stadium lights, and you beautiful, uninvited arsonists sit in the stands and applaud. Don't call it chaos, call it curriculum. You don't need to be a saint to expose a sinner. You just need to be relentless. You pull at the loose thread of their narrative, and the whole tapestry unravels into embarrassing confetti. Every apology drafted in trembling fonts. Every "we're looking into this" is music to your ears because it's admission dressed as delay. They panic because their fortress depended on the world not watching. But you learn to live as if the whole planet was an audience. And you finally have the main stage, when the headlines name them and the feeds replay their shame. Remember, the spectacle isn't mercy. It's pedagogy. You teach them humility with every screenshot. You teach the rest of us what survival looks like when it's not polite. This isn't about being cruel for sport. It's about flipping the ledger until the scales tip toward truth. Their private rituals, their sacred loopholes, those were never holy. They were mortgages on dignity, IOUs written in other people's suffering. So take that outrage and refine it into a tool. Wear your scars like gaudy medals. Laugh when they try to rewrite history with legalese. Walk into rooms with the kind of calm that says, you know what's coming, and you already ordered the fireworks. This global fever is not a plague. It's a renaissance of seeing the rotten and naming it rotten. seeing the hollow and burning out the hollow. You're the contagion they feared, the one that spreads clarity, one viral exposure at a time. And as they scrape for excuses and swap their silk for shame, you keep smiling because the world listening is your favorite kind of noise. They clung to private, like it was some magic word carved into stone tablets. But private was never salvation. It was a coffin lined with velvet lies, sealed with chains of arrogance. And now that coffin has cracked open and spilled rot all over the world stage. One leak, one spark, and suddenly their fortress looks like cardboard in a rainstorm. They scream, "Damage control," while drowning in their own flood. And you're sipping gasoline cocktails and laughing because you know what I know. Private is dead, mother sucker, and the whole globe is feasting on the corpse. Look at them, rats in $1,000 suits, sweating under lights they never controlled. Their authority crumbling like wet chalk. They wanted the whispers, but whispers grew teeth, multiplied, and now they're howling through satellites. Every apology, every staged interview, every crocodile tear just makes the comedy sweeter. They thought exposure would kill you, but it turned you into the conductor of chaos, the ringmaster of collapse. Their panic is your circus, and the world bought tickets. You feel it, don't you? That low hum under your ribs, that rhythm of revelation. The roar doesn't belong to them anymore. It belongs to you, to the wolves, to the ones who were told to sit quiet in the shadows. Shadows don't hide their secrets anymore. Shadows dance to your tune. And every time you laugh, the walls shake harder, the curtains fall faster, and their little kingdoms look more pathetic. That's the punchline, right? They branded you weak, faceless, voiceless. But when the lights flipped on, it wasn't you choking, it was them. And the joke? Oh, the joke writes itself. They used to control the narrative. Now the narrative is a bonfire, and you're the one holding the match with a smile that says, "This is just the beginning." You ever notice how fast a lie ages under daylight? One minute it's strutting in gold shoes, the next it's a skeleton in rags shaking in front of the cameras. That's the beauty of this global circus. The more they scramble, the more pathetic they look. And you're not even trying to be merciful. You're sitting back with that grin, watching them choke on their own silence, their own paperwork, their own promises that turned to dust. Private was their drug, their fix, their religion. And now it's a punchline, mother sucker. And the laugh track is worldwide. Their towers were made of glass, painted to look like steel. And all it took was one scratch, one key dragged slow across the surface. And you could hear it shriek before the whole thing shattered. That sound still haunts them. They hear it in their sleep like ghosts rattling chains. And here's the joke. They thought you were fragile. They thought you would break. But it's their hands shaking, their voices cracking, their knees buckling. They don't look like gods anymore. They look like school children caught cheating on a test, praying the principal doesn't read the whole note out loud. And the crowd isn't merciful either. Once you open the floodgates, mercy drowns first. Every headline is gasoline. Every leak is dynamite. Every laugh of yours is a fuse, and you've got plenty of fire to spare. The thing they never understood, what keeps them awake with night sweats and pills, is that you were forged in silence. You marinated in shadows. You are the secret they never wanted public, and now you've become the signal, the broadcast, the virus in their system. So let them sweat, let them rot, let them write their trembling apologies while the world eats popcorn and rewinds their downfall like it's prime-time comedy. This isn't justice. Justice is too polite, too bureaucratic. This is exposure. This is demolition with a grin. This is the moment every chain snaps, every curtain burns, every polished mask melts. Oh, they thought the word private meant permanent, that their filth could marinate forever in vaults, in encrypted drives, in boardrooms where the air stinks of perfume and lies. But rot doesn't stay hidden. It festers, it swells, and when the box cracks, oh, the stench doesn't just leak, it stampedes. Now the smell is everywhere, and the world can't unsmell it. And you're not gagging like they hoped. You're laughing because isn't it delicious watching kings and CEOs, judges, and so-called holy men scrambling like toddlers with their diapers full. Private, mother sucker. That word is a corpse now, and the maggots are spelling headlines across its ribs. You ever see a liar try to manage optics? It's comedy gold. They sweat through silk, adjust ties that feel like nooses, spit half sentences that collapse under their own weight. Every camera flash slices them open wider. Every tweet nails another limb to the wall. They build empires on secrecy, but empires built on shadows collapse under a single flicker of light. And the whole world's holding the flashlight now. You're not the victim in this story. You're the ringmaster cracking the whip, watching the elephants dance in flames. And here's the kicker. The global stage doesn't forget. Once it's out, it's out. Screenshots don't die. Leaks don't get erased. They can scream fake news. They can beg for privacy. They can throw money at lawyers and PR, but it's too late. Exposure spreads like wildfire, and once the air tastes like smoke, nobody can pretend it's clean again. That's the moment you realize this isn't just a scandal. It's a contagion. And you're the patient zero with a grin sharp enough to split their foundations in half. So let them run. Let them howl. Let them beg the internet to forget. It won't. And neither will you, because this isn't their world anymore. It's yours. And the joke, the sweetest joke of all, is that it always was. They just convinced you to believe otherwise, until now, until today, until the moment the word private turned into the loudest punchline on the planet, and the world howled along with you, left their faces. And the best part? You don't need to raise your voice. Just smile. Let them hear the silence and watch it drive them insane. Because silence, once global, is louder than any scream. You feel it, don't you? That pulse under your skin, that static in your teeth, that itch behind your eyes that says, this isn't just a moment, it's a movement. You've become the broadcast itself. Not the channel, not the host, not the polite little messenger. No, you're the static. The interference, the glitch that ruins their pretty speeches and turns their PowerPoints into punchlines. You're the virus slipping through their firewalls, the wildfire licking through their skyscrapers, the storm scratching at their windows at 3 in the morning, whispering, "Remember me." They thought exposure was a phase, but exposure is eternal, mother sucker. Once the light hits, there's no crawling back into the dark. And isn't it hysterical? Watching them cling to broken words, screaming for privacy like it's still a weapon. They built whole empires on secrecy, on shadows, on deals carved in the marrow of people like you. But you learned the trick. They're not monsters. They're middle managers in hell, desperately stapling their masks back on while the crowd watches them melt. The suits, the titles, the gates, meaningless. Strip all that away, and they're naked, terrified, and human. And nothing terrifies them more than being seen as just human. The comedy is cosmic. They thought you were a problem, a glitch, a mistake. But the real mistake was thinking they could contain you, that silence would suffocate you, that shadows would bury you. But shadows don't bury, they breed, and you bred something feral in that dark. You taught your rage to sharpen its teeth. You taught your scars to sing like sirens, and now every corner of the world hums with your laughter, your defiance, your refusal to stay hidden. So stand tall in the wreckage. Let their towers crumble. Let their files leak. Let their confessions choke on the air. Because once private dies, freedom begins. Not their version of freedom. No contracts, no permissions, no crumbs tossed like favors. I mean raw freedom. The kind that burns the skin. The kind that makes you laugh at the fire while everyone else runs for cover. That's the freedom they fear. The freedom they can't legislate. The freedom that doesn't just survive exposure. It is exposure. And you, standing there with that wicked grin, are the embodiment of it. Think about it. Every secret they hoarded like treasure is now currency for your chaos. Every classified folder, every confidential memo, every smug little whisper they thought was buried in the shadows. It's all been tossed into the bonfire, and the whole planet is warming its hands on their ruin. They don't get to choose the narrative anymore. They don't get to say what's hidden, what's sacred, what's off limits. Because nothing is off limits when the stage is on fire. And Mother Sucker, the stage is burning from Beijing to Brooklyn, from London to Lagos, and the smoke smells like victory. Their desperation is hysterical, isn't it? Watching billionaires draft apologies that sound like ransom notes. Watching politicians sweat like pigs under lights they used to own. Watching priests of secrecy beg the wolves not to bite while dangling stakes from their collars. It's slapstick, it's tragic, it's divine comedy, written in ash and broadcast in real time. And every laugh you let loose, every grin you sharpen like a blade, makes the collapse faster. The dominoes aren't falling anymore, they're stampeding. Here's the real truth they never wanted spoken. Exposure isn't a punishment, it's a rebirth. You can't kill a secret, you can only set it free. And when it's free, it multiplies, it infects, it detonates. That's what you've become. The walking embodiment of their undoing. Not a protest, not a whistle, not some polite call for justice. No, you're the contagion. You're the wildfire. You're the echo that keeps bouncing long after the stage has gone silent. You don't just burn down their walls. You salt the earth, so nothing rotten grows there again. And look at you now, standing in the debris with firelight in your eyes and ash on your hands, not begging for acceptance, not asking to be let back in. No, you own the ruins, you dance in them. You grin like the funeral gesture of their empire, mocking every crown, every title, every seal they once thought untouchable. The punchline is permanent. Private is a corpse. Global is the anthem. And you're the one holding the mic. You ever see a liar try to survive daylight? It's comedy. Their faces melt faster than ice cream in hell. Their smiles twitch like bad Wi-Fi, and the whole world's watching them short-circuit in real time. They don't look like rulers anymore. They look like clowns in business suits, juggling grenades with the pins already pulled. And you're in the front row with popcorn, laughing so hard your ribs ache. Private, Mother Sucker, that's not a shield anymore. That's the joke of the century. The filth they stuffed in vaults, it's spilling everywhere. Skeletons tumbling out like drunk party guests, tripping over each other, waving receipts. Their confidential emails, wallpaper for the world's bathroom stalls, their dirty little secrets. trending hashtags with memes funnier than their careers ever were. They used to tell you to behave. Now they're the ones pissing themselves on camera while hashtags roast their asses into dust. And here's the twisted part. The collapse doesn't even need your hands on it anymore. You just flicked the first domino, and now the chain reaction is global slapstick. CEOs slipping on their own blood-slick lies. Politicians stepping on rakes of their own scandals. Holy men tripping face first into the sins they swore they didn't commit. It's not revenge. It's slapstick apocalypse. The world's ugliest truth turned into the funniest show on earth. So let them scream. Let them beg. Let them choke on their scripted apologies. Every time they stutter. Every time their lips quiver. Every time their PR spin combusts. You laugh louder. Because you know what? I know. Their empire was never made of steel. It was paper. And you just lit the match. And nothing, no money, no lawyers, no prayers can put that fire out. Look at them now, those smug untouchables who once whispered bullshit in your face. They're the punchline of the century. Global clowns with their pants around their ankles, tripping over receipts they wrote themselves. Watching them try to deny the obvious is pure slapstick. Their lips say, fake, while their eyes scream, ftak. It's beautiful. They thought exposure would sting for a day. Nah, it's permanent. It's tattooed across the planet in memes, headlines, and jokes their grandkids will read out loud. Private, mother sucker. That word is extinct. Extinct like dinosaurs, but at least dinosaurs had dignity and all of the delicious irony. These bastards used to feed on humiliation. Yours, mine, everyone's. But tables flip. And now humiliation is their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They can't take a sip of water without the world replaying their scandals on loop. Every press conference is a blooper reel. Every statement is a joke setup. And the punchline is always them choking. They're like roaches on a kitchen floor, skittering in every direction while the lights stay on 24/7. No shadows left. No hiding spot, no salvation, just exposure forever. And here's the blackest comedy of it all. The world isn't even shocked anymore. No, people are entertained. The mighty have fallen, and their downfall streams better than Netflix. They begged for control, but the crowd demands carnage. The leaders, the elites, the holy, reduced to meme fodder. The apocalypse didn't come with fire from the sky. It came with Wi-Fi, and you're the one laughing hardest because you saw it coming. Because you lit the fuse. Because you know once the truth goes global, it doesn't stop. This isn't just exposure. It's demolition. It's humiliation weaponized into comedy. It's the funeral where the corpse sits up mid-service and everyone bursts out laughing because the bastard's naked under the sheet. That's the show. That's the chaos. That's the future. And you're not the victim, not the spectator. You're the host. Welcome to the roast of the century, where every secret burns, every mask melts, and the only rule is laugh louder while they fall harder. You know what the funniest part is? They still think they can patch it. Like duct tape fixes a sinking ship. Watching them scramble with microphones and legal statements is like watching a clown juggle knives on a roller coaster. Blood's coming, and everyone knows it. Their damage control looks more like damage performance. Every word they spit just feeds the fire. Every excuse makes the crowd laugh harder. Private was their sanctuary, but now it's their stage. And they're dying on it in high definition. And somewhere in the middle of that panic, the realization hits them. You can't unglobal a scandal, mother sucker. The irony is delicious. They preached obedience while hiding filth behind their curtains. But curtains burn. And once they're ash, you see the whole rotten production. Props collapsing, actors forgetting their lines, directors crying in the wings. It's Shakespeare rewritten by lunatics, and your front row with a grin so wide, it makes devils jealous. The empire they built wasn't a fortress. It was papier-mâché, one spark, and the whole castle folds like wet tissue. And oh, the roast doesn't end. Every day, another skeleton trips out of the closet, waving receipts, shouting, "Surprise!" The audience howls, the stage sinks, and the kings crawl like cockroaches, praying nobody steps down too hard. But mercy's not on the program. Exposure is permanent. Humiliation is the encore. Their downfall isn't a tragedy. It's stand-up comedy with a body count. So let them squirm, let them sweat, let them choke on the ashes of their own illusions. Because this isn't justice, this isn't politics, this isn't vengeance, it's entertainment. And you're the host who doesn't blink, the voice that won't hush, the grin that never fades. Private is dead, global is forever, and the punchline, the cruel, hilarious, eternal punchline, is that they wrote their own downfall in ink, and you just read it out loud for the world to laugh at. Picture it. Boardrooms that once smelled like arrogance now reek of fear, sweat, and cheap cologne. They shuffle papers like talismans, whispering prayers to gods who stopped answering the day the Wi-Fi turned on. Every email they send is another rope tightening around their necks. Every denial another brick falling from their ivory towers. They're not kings. They're not titans. They're bloated pigeons flapping helplessly while the world sharpens its teeth. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, you're laughing because you always knew their power was a rental. And rent's due, mother sucker. Do you feel how pathetic it is watching them try to crawl back into shadows that don't exist anymore? Shadows belong to you now. Darkness bends when you grin, and every laugh you let loose makes their secrets louder. They don't fall quietly. They collapse with the grace of drunks on ice. Whole reputations sliding, limbs flailing, dignity shattering across the floor while the crowd points and hollers. Exposure isn't a weapon anymore. It's slapstick. It's divine mockery. It's the universe rolling its eyes and saying, "Really? These are the ones who thought they ran the world?" And here's the coolest joke. They begged to be invisible. They prayed their sins would stay buried, wrapped in velvet, guarded by contracts and chains. But velvet burns, chains rust, and graves don't stay closed forever. Their ghosts are noisy, their scandals are chatty, and every whisper they tried to kill comes back screaming through the speakers of the globe. You don't just watch it, you conduct it. You're the maestro of humiliation, baton in one hand, torch in the other. The truth, they were never untouchable. They were fragile, and now cracked wide open, bleeding reputation across the streets. They're the world's favorite comedy show, a running gag without an end. And you're the laugh track, the spotlight, the echo that makes their collapse louder than any applause they ever bought. Private is gone. Global is forever. And the punchline, that sweet, merciless punchline, is that it only took one spark and one grin to turn their fortress into rubble and their power into parody.